All hands, man your battle stations. 60 years fade away, yet the sound of the general alarm still makes the adrenaline surge through my veins. The memories come back like a tidal wave. I slide out of my bunk, into my shoes, grab my life jacket. No need to dress. We sleep in our clothes when at sea. In 3 minutes, all stations will report. Manned and ready. My name is Dick Graves. I was a boot ensign, a 90-day wonder when I reported to Mare Island Shipyard as officer in charge of the pre-commissioning detail. It was February 1944. Over the next month, additional crew members began reporting for duty. Most all were young boys, just out of high school. One looked like a Cub Scout. He was soon to become a man. I introduce to you our principal narrator, John Kunsak.
Thank you, Dick. A Cub Scout I was. That was about when I was 10 years old. But I joined the Navy when I was 16. I had my local priest give me a falsified birth certificate. So I joined at 16. I reported aboard the USS Rall right after my 17th birthday, and I was wounded 2 months after I turned 18. So I got a Purple Heart. Well, the story is not about me. It's about another hero. Lieutenant Richard Rall was a medical officer. He graduated with honors from Loyola University in Chicago during the Great Depression. His patients were not paying their bills, and a naval career looked very promising. Destroyer escorts are all named for heroes. It is unusual for one to be named after a medical officer. However, Lieutenant Rall has distinguished himself by developing radically improved procedures for treating casualties. Instead of one hospital deep in the bowels of a ship, his plan called for dispersing aid supplies and facilities all about each ship. Also, first aid training would be intensified. His reforms saved lives, maybe even my own. Ironically, he was killed in an auxiliary aid station on December 7th in the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Lieutenant Rall is shown here, shortly before Pearl Harbor. He's with a pharmacist mate aboard his ship, the USS Pennsylvania. The widow of Lieutenant Rall is seen here at the christening ceremony at Mare Island Shipyard in San Francisco Bay. A destroyer escort was designed for anti-submarine warfare. It is smaller than a regular destroyer, about 300 feet in length. Now note that sharp bow. Like the Greek ships of old, we could use ramming tactics to sink a ship or even a submarine. Some DEs actually did this in the Atlantic against German subs. A DE has underwater detection gear and is armed with various types of depth charges. It also has 3 small cannons of 3-inch bore for use against small ships or submarines. The DE has a rather weak anti-aircraft capability. It had a 1.1-inch quadruple mount machine gun that did not work well when installed on the light hull of the DE. All later DEs had a twin 40mm mount, and it was an excellent weapon. These 3-inch guns, 3 of them, became effective late in the war when the projectiles was equipped with proximity fuse. And then there were 9 20mm guns that were only effective at short range, and it required multiple hits in crucial places to disable a plane.
This is how the ship when I first looked at her. The heavy machinery was installed a few days later. Then deck houses were welded in place. Next was an informal ceremony when the mainmast was stepped. Small coins were tossed into the hole where the mast was fitted. This was a tradition to ensure good luck. We were to need it.